Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We've got Dr. Fauci taking questions at a public hearing on Capitol Hill, and there's a lot of clips. Rand Paul, Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley was like, "Doc, I'm gonna need you to answer this question." He's like, "Doc." He wanted to be a patient. Josh Hawley wanted to be a patient for Dr. Fauci. He was like, "Can I take like a patient entry application or something?" Yeah, there's no way he's going to prison. He already got preemptively pardoned. That's the crazy thing with this. Think about it. They said Dr. Fauci had 10 lawyers with him. He's already been preemptively pardoned, and he has to, of course, use the little pawn of pleading the fifth on everything so he doesn't open himself up to anything else. Because when you answer these questions, you're opening yourself up to lying possible charges. And so, of course, his lawyers tell him not to say anything. Yeah, that TMZ guy's pathetic. That's the worst form of empathy, too. It's the most normified empathy for Dr. Fauci, the guy that has already been preemptively pardoned by Biden, who's got 10 lawyers next to him, not answering a single question. That's the guy you feel bad for. He's like worth $30 million. Oh, but he had to take questions for 2 hours and he was bullied by Republican congressmen. Boo hoo. Now we all got to feel bad for him. Would you ever do Collins? Yeah, I mean, I did Collins once. It didn't go very well. I guess if we structured it, it could work maybe. But it has to be one person at a time. Should have answered, can you have this folder for the remaining 3.5 million files of Epstein? The Epstein files? Oh, man. Yeah, I know the TMZ guy's connected to him. But the Epstein files, it's like, that's been flubbed so badly. What's up, man? You read an article Fauci's making 400K per year on his federal pension. I'm sure he is. I mean, think about that. He's like the resident doctor. He's like the doctor of America. And then he's got all those journals where he's obsessed with himself. You're a grown man. You're supposed to be a doctor. You're like, how old is he? Like 70, 80 years old. He's writing in a journal about how successful he is. It's the most pathetic shit. It really shows you the overall character of someone like that. How self absorbed they are. Just pure narcissism. But that was the rumor that Fauci always liked being the star during the pandemic, and that's the worst type of doctor to have, especially if he gets wheeled out every single day during a pandemic. More videos on dating. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of like those videos are not they're not the best for me because it's like, I mean, I do understand it's very bad in terms of dating, but it's like I really wouldn't be making these videos if I had a girlfriend, so I don't know if I should make them. It's like makes me look like a loser. Holly, yeah, Josh Holly. He was like, "Doc, I need you to answer this. What color is the carpet? What's your first name?" And of course, he has to plead the fifth because they do that thing where it's like, well, if you answer one question but then not another, that incriminates you on the other because you don't want to answer it. So that's why lawyers tell him you have to plead the fifth on every single question, no matter what it is. So he has to plead the fifth on every question. He's got lawyers next to him interrupting the proceeding. And he also got preemptively pardoned by Biden. But no, we need to feel bad for him. And he's also worth $30 million and he's obsessed with himself and he wanted to take advantage of the spotlight. He never should have gotten the spotlight. The only reason he did was because there was a pandemic. This is not someone we should feel bad for. This is low intelligence if you seriously have empathy for someone like this. Yeah, no, it's true. No, it's true. I am moving. Yeah, Fauci really just has an evil look to him. If you look at him, you can't even see his eyebrows. There's just something off about him, really. And he just has a no expression. He wants to be the star. Well, now you get to be the star, and he doesn't want to be the star anymore. He has to answer some questions about funding, about funding sources. Ohio Senate race, unfortunate, is classic neocon versus neolib. Yeah, Houston. Yeah, I probably am. I probably am dark. You want the rundown on the Fauci stuff? He didn't answer any questions. The Republican congressman got angry because he wasn't answering anything. He had six lawyers next to him. And because it's smart for him not to answer any questions, why would you answer anything? You're going to open yourself up. You're going to open yourself up to charges or lying under oath. And so they just told him don't answer any questions. Would you call Vivek a neocon? Well, the thing with Vivek that's interesting is he was one of the people that was like calling out the funding to Israel and then he just flipped completely. If you remember that back in like 2023, 2024 during those debates. And now he's completely flipped. But it's a little bit different with Vivek because it's turned into like this foreign invasion into the country and like a symbol for it because he supports the H1Bs and kind of the foreign culture versus the American culture. Do you think BTC sees 70K area before next leg down? Yeah, probably. It'll probably go up a few thousand and then hopefully we'll have another leg down. There's no way he's going to jail. I mean, he's protected by so many different layers. If they actually think about even Trump back in 2020, he like appointed Fauci and gave him medals and stuff. And remember when Trump was doing the warp speed and how obsessed he was with that? They really, I was thinking about that earlier. They really sold Trump on that Operation Warp Speed. Sir, you could have the fastest vaccine ever. And you know, Trump like loved it. Sir, you could have the best response. We'll call it Operation Warp Speed. Would the establishment pick someone like Holly or Rubio if he wants to be VP for Vance's running mate? You, well, that's the thought of ticket is Rubio. I mean, for VP doesn't really matter all that much, but I don't really think that's a balanced ticket. A balanced ticket would be someone a little bit different than Vance. I think it's a bit redundant, honestly. I guess Rubio wouldn't be redundant because Rubio's more establishment. How many super chats lately? Here's $2. Wow, thank you for that. Bryant. Thank you for that. How was he protected when AutoPen was used by the staff? But illegitimate pardon? No, it's actually legitimate, unfortunately, even if you use AutoPen, because if they asked Biden, let's say they say, well, no, because think about it. The whole idea of the AutoPen is to do something behind the president's back and have his signature on something that he doesn't want. But technically, Biden wants it. Of course, the handlers tell him that, oh, yes, you like this and stuff. But the point is that it's not like they went behind Biden's back and pardoned someone that the president didn't want, because then they could go to Biden and say, hey, did you actually want this? What your staff did? And Biden would be like, no. And then that could maybe be deemed an illegitimate pardon. But Biden, he's completely controlled by the DNC and the staffers. They're like, yes, this is good. We're going to do all of this for you. You have to nod your head. Like if somebody went to Biden and said, what do you think? I mean, it would be kind of funny if Biden came out and said, I don't like that they used AutoPen. Then that would be a big scandal. I don't think he's going to do that, but it would be kind of funny. But Biden's like, yeah, the AutoPen, I approved all of them, of course. I approved all the AutoPens. All right, this is a good one, David. Thank you for that. What is your take on Rubio versus Vance? Who do you like more as a candidate? Who do you think is more likely to win a general election? I like Vance over Rubio. It does get a little bit more complicated in terms of who is better for a general. Because think about it. You say Rubio is much better for Hispanics. Vance is much better for the Rust Belt. So you do have some differing there. You could make an argument, well, I don't know, because there's a lot of the other problem is it's like you kind of think about the Israel situation and the amount of people that hate Israel, but so much of it is online and so much of it's younger and it actually doesn't really affect the electorate. So maybe it would be Rubio in terms of better overall because of the Hispanic draw. But I would like Vance over Rubio. I think Vance is a better choice than Rubio for. I mean, the other thing for Vance that you have to think about is how is he going to really continue MAGA? It's kind of like he has to create his own thing. So I don't know how that transition really transpires. So that's another thing to think about. Because if I was Vance, I mean, that's a really tough spot to be in. It's like you're in Trump's shadows. How do you break out of that? Candidates under 6 feet do not win presidential elections. Well, what would Vance is definitely above 6 feet. I think Rubio is as well. Is Rubio 5'11" or something? Thoughts on these guys who push the faceless YouTube channel grift? Does it really make 6 figures quickly? I've never done anything like that. That's all. That type of stuff is all shorts. I know what you're talking about. It's shorts, short form videos. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. That's like a 16-year-old kid that learns that type of stuff, and he just. I mean, maybe that's a profitable business, but Typhoon, what's up, man? Typhoon, remember when you said the bottom was in? Bro, you literally said the bottom was in at like 70K. Maybe like 75. If you watch Fauci, I mean that's an evil individual. Dude, there was this fake Fauci account. This dude blew it so badly. Oh. So there's this account on X and the handle is just Fauci. And obviously it's fake. But he the account posted today for the first time like since 2020 or something. They have like 3 posts on the account, and Republicans thought it was the actual Dr. Anthony Fauci account, and so like Benny Johnson and all these people were responding, and they posted something and it just said good versus evil. That's what the Fauci account posted. And so Republicans were taking this like Fauci was trying to claim he was good, and so they got rage baited. But dude, then he gave it up. It was like you could have rage baited people so bad. Like what if that account posted like wear your mask? You could have rage baited people so easily if you keep that going. What if the account posted I win with a period? Like how many Republicans would get angry at that? What if Fauci what if the account just posted an emoji with like the zipper lips, to symbolize the Fifth Amendment? The Republicans would frickin' lose their minds. But the account gave up, and then everyone's like, "Oh, so it's fake." It just would have been funny. Do you stream on Twitch too, or just YouTube? Nah, I don't stream on Twitch. Vance could be alright if he stayed out of foreign wars. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get a read on Vance, honestly. But I think Vance is better than Rubio. Thoughts on Will, Sexton, Vrillium? Oh, I've seen the videos on Israel. I don't really have much of an opinion. Is MAGA dead? I don't see much support for it. Well, yeah, Trump has kind of become more irrelevant. You could argue, I mean, think about it. People say, well, Trump's more irrelevant. Well, it's like the dude's been dominating the news cycle for 10 years. At a certain point, it's going to get old. I mean, let's just call it what it is. People are going to get fatigued by Trump. And it's like, there's only so much when you dominate. I mean, I guess he didn't dominate in 2022 after losing, but for like 8 out of the last 10 years, people are going to get fatigued off of it. He's been the Republican nominee for 3 cycles in a row. You quit crypto? Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, it's it's an understandable story. I don't know what happened if you were. I mean, it's tough for you to quit during a cycle bottom. Yeah, it's good timing, but listen, it's maybe for the best because crypto it's a tough business. Thoughts on Manjor Z? Yeah, I like Mr. Z. How old are you? I'm 26. After Rubio and Vance, who do Republicans have? Um, it would be probably DeSantis, and then you get fringe like anti-Israel candidates. All right, let's see what some of this is. This is just
the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China.
On the advice of counsel,
Oh,
I
no.
respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
In the red folder on your table is a copy of Section 192 of Title II of the U.S. Code. Your counsel has been provided a copy as well. That section makes it a crime for a witness appearing under subpoena to refuse to answer any questions pertinent to the question under inquiry. Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him based on his Fifth Amendment right.
But see, that's the strategy, because if he does answer it, then they're going to say, well, by not answering the other questions that are more significant and relevant, you're incriminating yourself. But this is Fauci's game. He has 7 lawyers surrounding him. They're telling him that's why Rand Paul had to kick out one of the lawyers. He just wouldn't shut up. And then they try and make themselves victims. It's a hearing. I mean, why is a lawyer interrupting? A lawyer is literally just interrupting him to tell him to keep saying the Fifth Amendment. I mean, what even is the council? Do you think Byron Donalds can become big enough for VP or president? I'm not. No, no. I'm not a big fan of Byron Donalds. I thought DeSantis would get somebody. I guess not. Is COVID over, or is just caring about it over? Well, I mean, it's for the vast majority of people, it's been over COVID. Really, a lot of it kind of dissipated 2022, 2023 for sure. So, are you DCA into Bitcoin or waiting to buy? I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Strategy and several other adjacent assets to Bitcoin, but mainly DCA. But I'm starting to wait a little bit because I think there will be a bottom. But it's best to DCA because you don't know the exact bottom. Yeah, but I wasn't surprised that Trump endorsed Byron Donalds. That was kind of a given it was going to happen. I mean, it's unfortunate, but if Donalds is going to follow the MAGA agenda for the most part, and he's been somebody has supported Trump. Data center bans and hearings. Well, we have to have data centers. Data centers are they're infrastructure. That's all data centers are. They're just infrastructure for growing technology, which is artificial intelligence. I think the location of it, I can definitely reason with people that the location is problematic for sure. That's the thing. Like, I do see a lot of right wingers say, oh, we need data centers and all this, but the data centers are very problematic if they're located within your vicinity. They are. They're not just warehouses, they create noise pollution. They do, I believe they also drive up electricity costs. And I thought that was like fake, but it's actually real. So I think the data centers are necessary, but it is problematic. If there was a data center built in the woods behind me, I mean, that's a huge problem. There's really no other way around it. So it depends on where it's built. I mean, the people that defend data centers, they don't live near them, which is fine. I mean, most of us don't live near data centers, but Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. That kid, that's a legendary song.
You should be able to get it.
Mr. President, thank you. Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today. Senator Rand Paul said he's going to hold a vote on holding him in contempt of Congress. Do you think Dr. Fauci should face repercussions for this?
Well, I watched the whole thing today, but more importantly, I was a part of the whole Fauci. I inherited Fauci. He was here from the 19.
I can't take finasteride. Listen, if it works for guys, you got to be careful with side effects. It really depends on your chemical makeup. I think for about 90% of guys, it'll be fine. But when you're messing with chemicals within your body, it can be problematic.
1980, so I had him for a period of time, and I disagreed with him on a lot. I would have had to close down the whole country if I listened to him. I went the Federalist way, which is basically let the governors decide. And generally speaking, the Republican governors did very well. The Democrat governors did not very well. But Fauci wanted to have nobody wearing masks. If you
No, I didn't get low libido. Cognitive.
remember, and then everybody had to wear 5 masks, as many masks as you could get. I mean, made a lot of mistakes, and he wasn't a big factor for me. He was a very big factor for Biden. And if you remember, even though we were sort of prime time in terms of that whole disaster of COVID, far people died, fewer in the Trump administration than in the Biden administration. We ran it well, Operation Warp Speed was talked about as being one of the great success stories anywhere in the world, actually. And we did a good job. But many more people died under Biden than died in the Trump administration from COVID. COVID was a disaster, but Fauci did not help.
Do you think that the DOJ should reopen the investigation into the auto pen, specifically pertaining to Fauci?
Yeah, dude, oral is
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the auto pen because
when you're talking about finasteride, the topical stuff is horrible. I don't know how people would even do that. Administering that, it's just like greasy. But I'm not going to be a help to you at all. I can't take any of that stuff. I can't take topical, oral. So it depends. I mean, I think it's like 90%. People say it's 98%. I don't believe that. Probably about 10% of guys get fucked up from it. If I had to guess, it's really underreported, but not to a crazy degree.
the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
The thing with the auto pen is, I think if Biden says, no, I didn't mean to, the administration did this for me and I didn't mean to pardon these people. Biden is just he's just such a wet napkin. He's just going to agree to whatever pardon the administration gave out. I mean, because you think Biden is thinking, and he has the forethought to say, let's pardon Fauci so Trump can't jail him in the future or the Republicans can't jail him. Obviously, Biden is not thinking about that. They literally tell Biden, here's a list. These are the people we're pardoning. You have to sign off on this. This is the reason we're doing it. And so, I mean, obviously he didn't physically sign off because they did an auto pen, but it's a vocalized agreement. And you go to Biden, he'll probably be like, yeah, I meant to pardon all those people. Maybe if Biden still has some self-respect, he'd be like, no, I didn't want to pardon some of them. I mean, you're pardoning Hunter Biden. And then of course they say, well, because they're going to try and jail him for nothing. Well, preemptive pardons are pretty insane, and it's a horrible. The other thing is, this is how these liberals can't be this stupid. You're giving out preemptive pardons. That's a new precedent. So now you don't think Trump is going to take full advantage of when he leaves office during his lame duck period? Obviously, he's going to give out many preemptive pardons to all of his family and himself. I mean, like, you set a terrible precedent when you do that, because I don't even think preemptive pardons were really a thing at all. Someone should look that up, but even under Trump, I don't think Trump really gave out preemptive pardons. Have you gotten into the stock market? Yeah, no, I've gotten into the stock market, so my portfolio will probably end up being mainly... But dude, the thing is, it's all proxies of crypto. Or it's like ETFs related to crypto. Technically, I'm buying stocks through Fidelity, but a lot of it pretty much all... The only thing that I'll buy that wouldn't be... Like, at least for this cycle, for the next 3 years, maybe a few quantum computing stocks. But probably not, because I don't really have the funds to spread it out that wide. But it's going to be focused on crypto-adjacent or crypto-related stocks, like Strategy, like ETFs off of Strategy even, like Solana ETFs. Yes, I still have crypto. I'm in a few really speculative, like... degen plays, because you have to, you have an itch to scratch. You got to do it. Do you think China will invade Taiwan before 2030, and what will the repercussions be? I honestly don't know. I know they do military exercises around Taiwan, but when you look at the Taiwan-China situation, it's probably very similar to Russia-Ukraine. Who could have predicted that Russia and Ukraine would be in a 4-year stalemate. So it's like we sit here and we say, well, China, because of their military size, they will easily capture Taiwan. Well, it's not that simple. It's like Russia would have easily captured half of Ukraine and Kyiv. Well, it's really not that simple. I mean, I think warfare is very hard to predict exactly how it plays out. So, I mean, even if they did invade, who knows if it would be successful? The international outrage, the sanctions against China, the China relies heavily on exporting. That would all get cut off. It would be a mess because it would certainly drive up prices everywhere because of the manufacturing prowess that China has. Dude, honestly, the thing I wanted to do a video so badly I didn't do it, but I saw this thing on Reddit and it was this girl and it's like the most obvious shit ever. So this girl is like, I forget what it was, but it was in the R texts, so it wasn't even a dating subreddit. And this just showed up on the top of the, I don't know how I'm like my IP's banned from Reddit or something. I don't even know how. But I still go on Reddit. And so it was like this girl who was complaining about this dude who like had another girlfriend, and it's obviously like some Chad dude and they're all trying to get with the same guy, and it's like the most obvious story ever. And like people in the comments didn't really understand. It was just kind of funny to see. And this girl's like complaining. It's like obviously the guy is probably more attractive than you, honey. If you want a relationship, it's not gonna happen. But you know, this happens over and over again with these women. BTC 30 to 40K. No, I would not play with leverage on Bitcoin at all. That to me, that's just not smart when you have free money by using cycles. I don't really, because with Bitcoin it has heavy volatility. You could be liquidated very easily, especially if you're a young guy using leverage. It's just, you're not going to win doing that. It's like buying a meme coin. You're just not going to win. And I think 30K is way too aggressive. It's not going to go down that far. Maybe 45, 50. You wanted Carney to win in 2025 because that would be a less aggressive threat against Trump. I don't think Canada's a threat with Carney or Polviev. Big Ten Media Day, I didn't really see anything from Big Ten Media Days. Why not use the leverage? Yeah, but the other thing is people are also saying Bitcoin might go back up and retest 70K or somewhere around there. I just don't like leverage in general, especially if you're probably a younger dude. You're going to lose your money. I'm just being honest. Even if you gain money with this trade, the next trade, it's just not a winning strategy. And I'm not even somebody that's frugal and, I invest into a 401k. You have enough time in the market, you realize a lot of this stuff, it's just a wallet draining. It's just wallet draining activity. You're better off just timing the bottom and just buying Bitcoin as an asset and an investment by using the cycles. So just DCA into it the next 4 or 5 months. When you're young, you should be risky, because when you're older, you can't have the. Yeah, well, you have to pay for your housing and shit when you get older and stuff. Obviously, unless you have crazy job that gives you a lot of disposable income. We don't have the demographics for something like Reform UK in the US. The UK is 81% white, whereas the US is just 61. Yeah, I mean, I have thought about the UK politics versus US. I just think they're different lifestyles. I mean, in the UK, they literally live on top of each other. They don't really own homes in the UK, and that's just how their cities are. They have these city grids that have endured so many years versus the United States, and the US is so car centric. Their communities are not tight knit because they've been dealing with all this immigration, but they certainly are a lot more walkable than in the US, and I think that affects the politics because they're all on top of each other, so they all see each other every day, and it really magnifies the issue that they have. But the UK talks about the idea of remigration way more than the US, that's for sure. But they're also in general more liberal in the UK, even though the UK is probably the least liberal out of all the a lot of the most of the European Union, at least on the western side of Europe. Would Israel election videos potentially do well for you? Huh. Honestly, who knows, man? There's a lot of craze for his. I don't know about the actual election. I don't know if that's something people are more so interested in, like, exposing Israel influence in American politics. I don't know about their own election. I mean, maybe people would be interested in it because if Netanyahu loses, can immigrants really assimilate? It depends the type of immigrant. And it also depends the volume. If it's a very small volume, the assimilation likely happens easier. And it's more so like an obligation to assimilate versus when they overwhelm and there's all these people, the immigrants then get the upper hand in the sense of them not having to assimilate. And it actually is the opposite to where the white Americans have to assimilate to the culture that enters the country. And if you don't, well, then you're deemed racist. And that's kind of what we've seen the shift. And that's a big problem. Netanyahu can lose. I know there's actually a decent chance Netanyahu loses. I still think he may hang on, though. Jake Lang, did you see his speech? Well, I saw his rally flyers or whatever that was. I did not see the speech, though. When you think the war ends? It's impossible to say. Because even if it ends, like, they're just going to do something after the midterms. I don't know what the resolution is. The resolution is probably them bombing the hell out of Iran again in 2027 and forcing some type of capitulation. The capitulation will probably be Iran agreeing to give up all of their enriched uranium to the United States and Trump viewing it as a victory for the US. Basically eliminating any chance Iran has of creating a nuclear weapon because they have no enriched uranium in their country. That's really the only way I see it ending. Yeah, the TMZ guy it's a total NPC behavior. I saw that video and I was like, oh, this guy is just such an NPC. The empathy for someone like Dr. Fauci, because obviously, like, you look at it with no context, this poor old man is getting ruthlessly grilled, but it's like he's got 6 lawyers next to him and he's not even answering any questions for the American people. We're supposed to feel, even in that context, like, how can you really feel bad for that? Fauci is literally being interrupted by his own lawyer who's trying to cover for him because he won't answer a question. That's why Rand Paul had to eject the lawyer. Do you think the Senate will pass voter ID before the midterms? No, I don't. Because at this point, it's like they're going on a recess. And I know Trump is pressuring them, but how do we have any chance? What are the. And maybe there will be a big push before the midterms because obviously it's time sensitive. Imagine they probably will take back the House. They've already gotten it through the House, but you just have to think with, like, the SAVE Act, how much lobbying is going on in DC to keep this thing from moving forward. Because this is what I think. You can say, well, it's all illegals and stuff. I think it's a combination. I think, yeah, there are illegals, but I do also think liberals understand that some of these minority people, they just don't have, even the legal citizens, they just don't have IDs, like, straight up. And you could say, well, they shouldn't be voting anyways, and I agree, but that's like, for them, they're like, this is a serious thing. We can't lose this voter block. These people, they do not know or they do not want to pursue acquiring an ID, but they still have to vote in elections for liberals. Like, if you look at the demographic of the people that can't produce an ID but are technically citizens, it's probably liberal, like, 70% liberal, 80% liberal. So how many votes are they losing using that? So they're deathly afraid of this Save America Act, not just because of the illegal immigration voting, but because of these liberal people that just don't have IDs. And then it's like, well, how don't you have an ID? Well, they say they're in low income areas. They can't get one. It's like, I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, I actually ordered a new birth certificate and it took me about 10 minutes. It cost $20 and I got it in a week. Are you going to do race by race breakdown videos for close big Senate races before the midterms? I guess I really enjoy that type of content, but IDK the overall demand race by race breakdowns. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see. I mean, it depends. I mean, some of the races are going to get really people are going to pay attention to them. The Texas race is going to be huge. The Ohio, a lot of it depends on the actual candidates that kind of drive it. Michigan should be pretty big. The states can still prosecute. The pardon is federal. Well, I mean, that's why he's answering these questions with the Fifth Amendment. He's still open to lawfare. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was colder. Honestly, I do. I like the thing is I like when I've been in. The only time I like the warmth is when it's like the first 70-degree day of the year. That's really nice. There is something great about it. This is what I think about the warmth. When you get like the first 70-degree day and you go outside and you're not wearing a coat, there's something freeing about that. Outside of that, I really don't like the warmth. I mean, if it's 70 degrees, it's all right. But when it gets to 80 or 90, and I do like going to beaches and stuff like that, but we don't have any of that here. And it's just like 85 degrees, although it's been a little bit colder the past month or so. You know, it's been very hot in the middle part of America. I know that. I'm more towards the eastern side, and it's been pretty mild relative to places in like the middle of the country. The middle of the country's gotten the 90-degree weather recently. We've gotten like really low 80s, high 70s. I think the lady should read this donation, or maybe she's broken. Rock bottom, thank you for that. Let El Salvador prosecute. Send him to SETCON. They're not going to do that, though. Fauci is protected class. Pepe, what's up, man? Tyler Oliveira got banned from Israel. You're probably for making a video there or something. Thoughts on the one Tate fan protesting outside of jail? Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, don't worry about it, Sam. I know you donated it. You've donated enough. You've donated to me before, I know. This Dulles Airport renovation. I don't know about this. I mean, I really the thing is this is what I think about airports. When it comes to airport architecture, right? Obviously there's parameters. It's tough to you can't build up because of the restrictions. But What is the one airport that has the giant central waterfall or whatever? I think it's in. Is it in Taiwan? It's like Taiwan, the Philippines. It's somewhere around. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. If you, the goal for an airport should be to have one amazing feature. That's what I think. Because airports, you can make them really nice, and but I think the best thing is to have one amazing feature for people passing through. Singapore, that's where it is. It's that water attraction. I saw that and I was like, that's really what an airport, if you do a $22 billion renovation, they talk about, oh, the terminals and all this. Well, I mean, the terminals are nice in a lot of airports. You got to have like a signature tourist place. I mean, obviously there's a ton of transit happening. So there's people from all over the place. You got to have something that's memorable. And so I see these renderings. I don't really see anything. It looks pretty bland to me. But I mean, listen, that's going to have to be an amazing renovation. $22 billion. Aviation is just so expensive. These airports are insanely expensive. $22 billion. That's over 4 times the price of SoFi Stadium. I get weirded out by airports sometimes. It's like the one thing that airports, they're just not homey. There's just so much transit happening. You never really feel. It's just all this fake art up everywhere. Like Cleveland Hopkins Airport has a bunch of fake arts, and it just doesn't feel. It's really a cramped airport. There's not many. There's not many terminals. Yeah, a giant central terminal. Well, I had the idea of a giant central terminal and then a translucent dome, but it can't be built up that tall. But more so like a transit, just a massive transit set area with a giant translucent central dome. It couldn't be an airport though because the height issues. That's the problem with airports is they have to be so short, so it's hard to really build anything architecturally. You literally live across the street from Dulles Airport. Is it old? People say it's really bad and it needs to be renovated. I guess this is why they're doing it. Well, let's see what this is.
32,000 cars. That'll be a world record, and very convenient. And then you'll have glass tunnels that go into the airport right from here. So you'll be 1 story above. This road stays beautified and stays. We keep this. This is your landmark. This is all new. This is your first tunnel, and then you drop down from there on. And so that when you have the planes, will be able to go right across without having to go back, make turns or anything else. It's going to be amazing. It'll be one of the largest airports anywhere in the world, and I think it'll be actually one of the most efficient.
Yeah, but shouldn't they try and do something symbolic based on its location? There's got to be a tourist, like, you got to make something, like, I don't know, something inside the airport, but they're just improving the infrastructure, it looks like to me. Are you pro salary cap in MLB? Yeah, I think it helps competitive balance. I think it's good for competitive balance for them to have a salary cap. Did I take the? I never took a single COVID shot because my doctor said I didn't need to, and I didn't have any obligation to take it by any employer. Yeah, we also need a salary floor. 100%. You need both of them. It help that's the easiest way to help with competitive balance. Yeah, I've been to the Atlanta airport. The Atlanta airport, dude. Imagine the Atlanta airport now. Oh no, I went to the Atlanta airport probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was just a layover, maybe a few different times. Because the Atlanta airport's a pretty big hub for going down to the Caribbean islands and things like that. That's probably where the layover happened. Doesn't the Atlanta airport handle some of the most traffic out of any airport? That's like the weird trivia question. People never know. It's actually the Atlanta airport that handles the most. Worst airport you've been to is Phoenix. Air conditioning does not do the job. It's hard, it's probably really hard to air condition a place like that with how hot it is outside. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. But you got to do it. I mean, it's Phoenix. It gets insanely hot. Luckily, it's dry heat. Did you see all the foreigners impressed with American stadiums? Well, America has such an insane inventory for stadiums. It's no other country compares. No other country's going to come close. It's also a Delta hub. Yeah, I never really took Delta, mainly United. I don't think I've ever, maybe if one or two Delta flights. I'm acting like I frequently fly. All right, let's see if she reads off this, hopefully. All right, Alexis, thank you. Why is ATL Airport the busiest in the world when Atlanta isn't even top 10 most populated cities in the US?
At Alexis tip $5 through Super Chat. Why is ATL Airport the busiest in the world when Atlanta isn't even in the top 10 most populated cities in the United States? How is LA or NY not number one?
Because they have multiple airports surrounding. Atlanta's the only major airport within Georgia. The other, New York City, they've all got, you got New Jersey. They all have multiple airports that divide their traffic. That's what I would guess. Is ND bigger brand than Ohio State? Notre Dame? I think Ohio State, well, I saw the TV, the patch. I think Ohio State's a bigger brand than Notre Dame. But I think Ohio State's the biggest brand in college football. But they did have a smaller deal than Notre Dame, so maybe not. When will the $39 trillion debt affect us? It's going to be another 15 to 20. It may be another 10, 15, 20 years till it actually starts kicking in. I mean, it already is kicking in because it's going to become it's like a debt spiral because the interest on the debt is becoming too much. And I mean, imagine the interest gets over 3 or 4 trillion. I mean, ATL is because of its location, major layover hub. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Have you played any video games this year? Well, my Xbox is not connected up, is not set up right now. So I haven't played anything. You going to see the Spider-Man movie tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. No, not tomorrow, Friday. I guess tomorrow's opening night. But I thought they only did like a midnight showings on Thursday. So I'm going on Friday. How fast can you run? I don't know. I mean, I haven't sprinted in a while. It's actually hard to say like how many miles per hour you can run. That's not really something that gets measured. I guess a 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash time is 4.7. Now my 40-yard dash time would be in the 5s or probably something like that. College football. Oh man, this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc?
Oh, he's like, Hunt, Doc. He called him Doc. It's a little interesting.
Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
Oh,
On the advice of counsel,
he's trying to
I
serenade him.
respectfully decline to answer based upon my
Fauci
rights
likes
under the
it.
Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of
He
counsel,
looked at
I
it.
respectfully decline to answer based
He
upon
looked
my
at the
rights
carpet.
under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You knew somebody was like, all right, Doc, if you answer this by invoking your Fifth Amendment, that means you're guilty, and then say a statement to him. Who funded the gain of function research?
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something.
He's like, let's get a little magic going. What if he was like, let's get some magic? And Fauci seemed to like it. He was like,
What day of the
intrigued.
week is it today?
On the advice of counsel,
What day of the week is it today?
Let's be clear today, what we've seen. I really did.
This is all about the Dulles Airport remodeling. It's considered one of the worst airports anywhere in the world. We're going to make it maybe the best with some hard work and some good thought process.
Oh, they got a model right there. But think about it, $22 billion. I mean, what are we talking about here? We can't build like a 400-foot tall triumphal arch or something. I mean, that would cost only like $4 billion. This is $22 billion. This aviation is just too expensive. I'm sorry.
But thank you for being here as we unveil exciting plans for a major and long overdue renovation and reconstruction of Washington's really horribly thought of Dulles International Airport. We are announcing plans to add more than 5 million square feet of new or renovated space. We'll replace the current C and D concourses, which are basic disasters, all the while preserving the iconic.
Bro's got a hair problem.
His attorney has been gagged, thrown out of this hearing room. But he has written a letter to the chairman that is an explanation for the reasons why Dr. Fauci is, in fact, invoking his constitutional right. It is a right. And I would ask that this letter from David Schertler.
This is some bad makeup. This dude he's got brown splotches.
And Danny Onato be made a part of the record if there's no
Without
objection.
objection.
This dude's got makeup on his ears. What's the purpose of that?
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate, Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Huh.
It
He's
is
getting
a
bitched out.
total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace.
And Fauci is like about to cry. So you look at it's all connected underground. Look at it. You've got Terminal A. You've got a connection point, Terminal B, underground connection, Terminal C, Terminal D, Terminal E, and it's just strips. And they say this is better for aviation traffic. And of course, they got the natural light coming in. But where is the defining feature is my question. Show the Discord. We already did that. I don't think I think I've kind of maxed out the amount of people that are going to join that Discord. I think that Discord's been maxed out if I were to guess. Well, I would imagine it would be maxed out. Or I would imagine that it would look nice. It's $22 billion. Let's be honest about it. But I'm saying, I mean, it doesn't look like it has really any defining exterior design. I get they want to have a bunch of natural light, and that's kind of the it's going to be a nice interior. I mean, listen, $22 billion. I want to see a real nice interior. What airport? Dulles. Washington, Dulles. I wish the wall was more grand. We could have rivaled the Great Wall of China. But yeah, they don't have the money for it, I understand. It was barely going to pass. They were barely going to be able to build it anyways, the way it is. I think arched windows would look nice rather than just the uniform. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that African city. They built one small building. Yeah. But that was only supposed to be like how are you going to build an entire massive utopia for $4 billion? These people, $4 billion, that's the cost of a triumphal arch. You're not going to build a city with $4 billion. What are we talking about? You're not building a city for $4 billion, bro. I mean, you're going to build a utopia, an advanced city for $4 billion. That's what they said, 4 to 6 billion. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's cheaper in Africa. I guess the labor's a lot cheaper, but yeah, no, I'm tired of it too. It's just like they're obsessed with, and I like, you have to have natural light. That's the thing with transit places. They say you have to have a ton of natural light. I agree, but why not format it with like arched windows or something like that versus it's just naked. It's just a glass sheet. So it just looks cheap to me when it's just a glass sheet. But people like that. They like the that's maximum natural light coming in to the airport. But with that, the way that's designed, it's like not even connected. It's probably connected underground. I mean, it's like strips of buildings. Doha Airport is probably my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I know those type of airports in the Middle East and the amount of money they have, what they're building. Yeah, that's the thing. The problem is a lot of these airports, and I think it's good, is they have some type of theme. So if an airport is themed in a certain way, like a certain style, I think it works. I don't know what the Dulles theme is. Probably like regressed classical, limited classical. Who knows? Beijing airport inside is all white when you enter with bright lights. I'm not a fan of that. I think that's it's like it's like obnoxious architecture. I think I've seen that airport and I would be like I wouldn't really like it in here. I just think
Trying to do as much as we can.
You go ahead.
I hope that's okay.
If he needs a little more time, just relax. I'm not Kamala. They give him 4 minutes and then start screaming at him.
That housing bill.
Don't be nervous, okay?
I'm only in the Oval Office with. No, I'm not.
He's been my friend for a long time, and he's a good man too.
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the autopen because the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president.
The Cleveland Clinic, amazing. A lot of people don't even know.
President has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything's going to happen to Fauci either. I don't think anyone does. Fair enough. It's the combination of high ceilings. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but it's not even just the high ceilings. When you have something all white that has very little interior decor, to me, it comes off as cold. And maybe that's the design that they're going for. I think they tried to go for a futuristic design. I don't think it really works. I think if you go for a futuristic design, there has to be interior ornamentation that would depict that. Otherwise, anyone can do a design like that. But I mean, I can respect them at least abiding. Like, the problem with this airport, But is there an actual theme to it? I wonder, like, ranking the best airports in the world, even though I'm not a fan of designing an airport. Is Tyler Robinson going to get the death penalty? Who knows how those things work. They got to release that video, though. That's the big thing with Tyler Robinson that we're waiting on. The video of him in the act. They said it's happened. They showed the people that were at the trial. And that's, I mean, it's a nice model. But it looks like it's a model only of the main terminal. I don't, because they got like more.
The terminal that's out there today was built 45 years ago, was meant to be temporary. And so I've spent my whole career at United Airlines waiting for this day, and all the people of United Airlines have spent even longer waiting for the day that we could have really the best airport.
It's not even a detailed model.
This design is one that works great for the airline. The president talked about how it works great for the
You could easily 3D print something like that.
Outside for the airline, but it's going to be a beautiful airport inside for customers. It's something that all of us at United, but really all Americans will be able to be proud of, having an airport when people come into the capital that really represents what the United States of America stands for. So I'm proud of it.
Think about a renovation. Oof. The amount of construction at an airport that's miserable to deal with. Top 30 airport rankings. It'd have to be top 10. I can't do top 30. Well, the reason you're not in NATO is the exact reason why the country was invaded. And I know a lot, people are now supporting Ukraine, and Ukraine's been doing very well against Russia. There's no question. But who really knows how that's going to end? But it's like, you're not going to be joining NATO because if a war happened between you guys and Russia, we would be in World War III. WNBA player Sophie Cunningham. I don't really care one way. I think it's bad. The WNBA is a horrible league, and it's just envious black women. And did you see the one story of the young 16-year-old girl who was sitting courtside that held up a sign that said, "We love you, Sophie. Keep fighting for women's rights." And then some minority owner, just fat woman, came up to him and harassed the girl. These women are just deranged. I honestly should do a video on that. People don't realize these women, these liberal women, these white liberal women are insane. And it's funny because why don't we just make fun of their ridiculously antisocial behavior? That's what we really should start doing. Something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to play that. That TMZ guy is... Oof. %85 chance Collins wins. That's pretty bullish, I would say.
This is a very exciting day for me, TikTok, because we have a new coin, a gold coin.
Come on.
This is the one that got me here, so I'm not going to ever abandon it. But this is the new one. This is the one that got me here. I'll take the one that got me here.
It looks like garlic.
Dr. Fauci, good morning. What are you going to tell them about the diaries today? What are you going to say about the diaries? Do you have anything to say?
How tall is he? Come on.
Did you say contradictory things? Were you more focused
That's uncalled
on
for.
getting attention for yourself, Dr. Fauci? Dr. Fauci, good morning. What are you going to tell them about the diaries today? What are you going to say about the diaries?
I ask you about the president's praise. He has said some positive comments about you. Leading up to this hearing, did you talk to the White House at all?
I didn't, but I always love getting praise from the president.
I ask you about the president.
Need a DG2 video or that channel? Yeah, that channel is still. I haven't made a video on that channel in a while. I was thinking of doing a video on that channel. The hay bales. A brown +8? Come on. Not good polling.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Secretary and Jack and everyone.
Dude, just look at the golden eagle behind him. I mean, what is he decorating with? Every day there's something different.
And, we're really, United, we're really excited to have this project get off the ground. The terminal that's out there today was built 45 years ago and was meant to be temporary. But it's going to be a beautiful airport inside for customers. It's something that all of us at United, but really all Americans.
Fauci, I'm not here to perhaps attack you or defend or anything. It's really just more, honestly, I just want to acknowledge I have had members of my family die from COVID, and now I also grieve for people that I've met that have lost their business through the pandemic, and they'll never been the same. Now, during the pandemic, I was the lieutenant governor, so we were in the middle of all of that maelstrom, trying to find the right balance between protect life and protect the economics and for all of it. And I'm not sure if we got it all right or wrong, but without a doubt, I can continue to question myself. But one that it's not about much more your regrets, but I have one, and that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab. And early on, that became like a right-wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now, there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown virus out. So, but that became a very partisan thing. And now, it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea that maybe the truth might come from a side that's different than you are. But I think we should really be willing to pursue truth, no matter where that may have emerged, for all of that. So, and I now see the remain.
Oh, man. Even Fetterman admits it. Fetterman. Elon Musk making an investment into the Trump Foundation, or I guess into the GOP.
You saw the helicopter crash a year ago into a plane. That was a disaster. And things like that would never happen. Bells would have gone off in 4 or 5 minutes before it happened. You would have heard the bells and whistles would have gone off. And a thing like that couldn't have happened if you had proper air control. So what's happened?
I love I want to hear behind the scenes, like what they tell Trump before, like introducing this renovation.
Happened is we're working very hard on getting the finest in the country now in the world. We've examined the systems of almost every good country
man, look
in
at
terms
this.
of air traffic control all
That
over the
dude's
world.
got a weird smile.
And we have the best people working on it in the world. And it'll make, I mean, so often you'll see somebody even bunking.
Did you see the story of the Pope's miracle birth of the baby who grew up and shot someone? Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that ironic? Yeah, Catholicism. At least the Vatican takes a hit.
Andrew Tate spotted inside Miami prison.
2 oceans.
Oh, what the...
You've had a couple of weeks to get to know our new Prime Minister. Have you spoken to him
I
much?
have.
And do you think he is the man?
How was Texas close when Trump won it by 14? Because Trump's not on the ballot. It's not as good as of an environment for Republicans. Paxton is not an incumbent. He's deemed more problematic than Cornyn was. I don't think Tellerico is anything special, but that's why it's going to be closer. No, I don't think is Andrew Tate in London? No, or is he still in a holding cell? He's still in Florida. I think he's in Florida still. But imagine you could get these seats on a plane for a low cost. This is why air travel is so bad. You can't sit in. Imagine you just had these were normal seats. These are normal seats for people. People are going to demand things like this in the future. They're too pampered. They can't sit in those little chairs. Those little seats. Thoughts on main race, Susan Collins? Yeah, no, I think it's probably a 50-50 race. Collins maybe has a little bit higher of a chance because they made the flub with Plattner. Beto O'Rourke had the midterms on a chokehold. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I said it's going to be like a 5 or a 6 point win. Probably for Paxton. Because he's not going to overperform. Beto lost by almost 3 to Ted Cruz. Do a video on the economic freedom of the U.S. states. I mean, that would probably be in the line of like a historical video discussing something like that.
How was your meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday?
It was good.
Do you see a time scale for getting
No,
that?
it was good. Look, you know, he's out doing his thing. I'd like him to end the war. So it's very simple. I get along with both. I get along with President Putin. I get along with President Zelensky. And like I told him, I want to end the war, get the war ended. Thousands of people, 25,000 people died last month.
What is this? Ugh. Unbelievably disturbing extremist. Oh, what a quote. Did Trump actually say this? Trump is cucking on Ukraine, it seems maybe he will try to remain impartial. Yeah, I think he's probably going to just stay out of it. But it does seem like there's been more support for Ukraine recently from the administration for sure. I mean, how really does anyone really know how well Ukraine is doing? I mean, we think Ukraine is doing well because they're not giving up much land and that's perceived as a victory, but you wonder at some point if Russia just outlasts them. And listen, for the US it would be better if Ukraine held up, but
You have the dignity to just say you're sorry.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. On the advice of counsel, on the advice of counsel, advice of counsel, on the 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 advice of counsel. Sorry.
yeah, this is
Florida Governor now.
The irresponsible funding of the Wuhan lab, and he worked very hard to cover that up for many, many years. But how many things was he wrong about? A pandemic is like the Super Bowl for somebody involved in infectious diseases and public health, and yet he was wrong about lockdowns. He was wrong about masks. He was wrong about school closures. He made up the 6-foot social distancing. He was wrong about demanding restaurants be closed. And so this is the Super Bowl. This is what you live for in that field. And he was wrong about all those things. And I know that firsthand because I was clashing with him on all of those issues in those early months of COVID. He would come down to Florida and do TV hits on local news attacking me for mandating that schools be open, for allowing restaurants to function and all this other stuff. And he would even host conference calls with mayors and counties as a way to circumvent our policies and to impose mandates, and we blocked it. And there was one of the most proud things that I can say since I've been governor is reading the diary entry, you know, where he was attacking me for blocking local mask mandates that he was trying to engineer around our back. And so I think it was a disgraceful performance. He did do that. But, you know, in fairness, we were hitting him very hard when he was still pretty popular. He was like a demigod for the first few months of COVID. When you went against Fauci, the media would say, oh, and they would always say, oh, the governor's breaking with Fauci. He's not listening to the science. And Fauci very much considered himself to represent science. So any pronouncement he made, if you disagreed with that, even if you had all the data in the world, oh, you don't believe in the science. And the legacy media really advanced that narrative. And so we had a lot of tussles. I was probably on the wrong side of public opinion at the time. Now I think people look back and they do recognize how wrong he was, but how destructive he was. I think he's probably the most destructive bureaucrat in the history of the United States of America.
I'd take that bet. Do you think he has criminal exposure, federally and state charges?
So I definitely think he should be held in contempt, and that process will go forward. He was given a presidential pardon. I disagree with that pardon. I think it was probably, but I think it likely would hold up in court, and so he has to cooperate, just as Senator Paul said. Conduct and the
And we've come up with a plan that's efficient and really beautiful, and I think it's going to give you one of the most beautiful, keeping the Saarinen. So Saarinen was one of the great architects of the world, and when he built this 30 years ago, I guess, or about that, this was considered one of the, like the eighth wonder of the world. This was considered the greatest terminal anywhere in the country. And it is, it needs some work, it needs some fix-up, but it'll be architecturally amazing, the rounded glass and the whole thing, massive, massive sheets of glass. Cost was no object, unfortunately or fortunately, and we're going to be using that, and it's going to be fixed. We're using it again as the primary entrance, And almost that's about it, because
Ugh. The Good Doctor. That TV show. The Good Doctor with the autistic doctor. Hmm. Fauci or Amy Acton. I mean, Fauci had more control over the narrative in the U.S. I don't like Fauci. Amy Acton is just annoying. But if she wins, Anakin Snow. I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you. I've seen you viewing my Instagram stories. You heart Fauci. There definitely are still Fauci supporters. It really is partisan. The liberals still like Fauci for sure. Remember, liberals would worship Fauci. I think they still like him. Maybe not so as much, but
Everything from harassments by emails, texts, letters of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals, and credible death threats mean someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time. It is very troublesome to me.
what'd you miss? Oh, it's just been Fauci not answering anything, pleading the fifth on every single question per his lawyer's instructions. It's a Kuiper. That kid? The kid behind Fauci?
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci? They've been assaulted. Their liberties have.
I don't look at this as a liberty thing.
Dude, like what are you wearing, bro? You look like you're wearing a beak. He's got like 3 masks on. How is the mask that large? It's like, yeah, people really did make Fauci their religion. And that's what happens with humans. They elevate someone to a god status. This
Dr. Fauci, give us that.
I've seen the Romo stuff. Yeah, Romo got arrested. I mean, it looked like he was a little tipsy. Yeah, that song. I've seen that video. It's that Fauci song too many times. Give us vaccines. Keep us all safe from this infectious disease. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to play the Romo edit because it probably involves music. Triple mask. This has got to be fake. I don't remember this. They actually started doing the triple mask. The only time I had to wear a mask was when I went to work out. Not while I was working out, but when you enter and exit and like when you're waiting in line to enter, you had to wear a mask at all times. Oh, and also you go to Target and stuff. You had to wear a mask. Oh, the Beagle.
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon.
Didn't Mike Devine? Yeah, Mike Devine got really obsessed with himself like Fauci because he became the star. But it was really not as bad as liberal states. Some liberal states you had to wear a mask when you worked out and stuff. That didn't happen in Ohio. But I mean, if you worked at like a white collar job in an office, I'm sure it was all virtual though. But even returning, you had to wear a mask.
Upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Burger King or McDonald's? I like McDonald's better. I don't really eat either of them, but if I had to pick, I'd say McDonald's. I never really was a Burger King person. I'm not a fast food burger person. I'll have chicken nuggets, not burgers. I mean, unless it's like Culver's. Culver's has good burgers. But when I eat the burgers, it has to be at like a sit-down restaurant. That's kind of how I view it. I'll eat a burger at a sit-down restaurant. Five Guys has the best burger. Yeah, Five Guys does have good burgers and fries. It's just bad for you. And it's also really expensive. Sit-down restaurants. Yeah, the thing about the sit-down restaurants is what I say. A sit-down restaurant should automatically bring you a water, and then they should say, what do you want to complement the water? I shouldn't say, because think about it. When I'm eating a meal, I like having like a pop or something, but then after I'm done with it, I like the water. So I like having a pop and a water at a meal. They should already bring you the water. Some of these restaurants don't even do it. They should supply you with water. If it's a nice sit-down restaurant, they should already supply water. Jersey Mike's, yeah, I never really got into Jersey Mike's. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I actually like Firehouse subs more than Jersey Mike's. At least what I get at Firehouse, I like it. This is what I think. I was just at a sit-down place for lunch. This is why, and it was a pretty nice place. But they bring you the water, so you have a water. You've got an ice cold water. So now you have a water in your inventory. That's nice. Then you get a pop. And then during my meal, I'll be drinking the pop. The meal finishes. I don't want a second pop because now I don't need the carbonation in my stomach after I've already eaten everything. It's just too much. I'm full. But you need the water. You drink water even if you're full, it's not a bad thing. It actually settles the food. So the water settles the food, and that's why you need the water complemented. But the problem with these places, they don't bring you the water. Then it's like, well, I don't want to ask for an extra beverage, but you're complicating the process. Papa soda. You're from the South, or maybe the Western. I don't know who calls. I think the South calls it soda, or maybe the South calls it Coke. The South calls it Coke. The Western side of the U.S. calls it soda. The northeastern side calls it pop. You think soda is bad for you? Depends what you drink. You drink 0 calorie. I mean, it's listen. If it's 0 calories, it's 0 calories. How can you argue with it? Yeah, there's problems with artificial sweeteners. Whatever. No, a hot dog is not a sandwich. It doesn't even make sense. A sandwich, you need. See, the thing is with a sandwich, there has to be some formation of two. This is the thing. With a hot dog, you've got a lengthy bun that's connected because it flaps open. With a sandwich, it's not. They're not connected. The bun is not connected. The bun it's squared or rounded. For it to be a sandwich, it's got to be squared, rounded. Or I guess they do have the longer sandwiches, yeah. But no, a hot dog is not a sandwich. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. Thoughts on almond milk? I used to always have almond milk with my protein shakes when I was working out. Almond milk by itself, it's tough. It's really tough. I like low fat milk. If I have to drink a milk by itself, I'll take 1% low fat milk. But the almond milk, the only time that I think almond milk you can use it, you gotta like mix it with shit, like in a smoothie or something. It's palatable, but you can't just drink almond milk raw. I don't think it's good. Full fat milk is delicious. Oh, I remember having that. My mom got it from Costco one time. We always would get 1%, and I was so used to it. Then we got full fat, and it honestly tasted disgusting to me. I was like, oh, because I had never had it. I was like, why does this taste so weird compared to the regular milk? Some people think hot dog is a sandwich. Well, actually, I can kind of understand why, but it doesn't really have an actual classification. A hot dog. It's favorite Spider-Man movie. I don't know, maybe the one with Michael Keaton. A2 Casein milk. I never heard of it. I haven't been drinking much milk recently. We just don't really buy it. Coke or Pepsi? When I was younger, I liked Pepsi better. I don't drink. The only thing I'll drink is like. This is the thing. I don't really drink cans of pop outside of Diet Pepsi, no caffeine. Or is it Pepsi Zero Sugar, no caffeine? No, I think it's Diet Pepsi, no caffeine. The cans just are not. They don't taste good. Like Coke Zero, I don't think tastes good in a can. But if it's a fountain drink, I think it's good. If I get Coke Zero from a fountain, it's I'll enjoy it. From a can, I don't really enjoy it. I just think it tastes off. Depends on how it's prepared. I got a Diet Coke that was really good from this restaurant. It's like, bro, where do you get this syrup from? This is what I want to be drinking. This is nice. You can't recreate it. You get a can of Coke Zero, it doesn't taste good. I don't drink Coke Zero from a can. Candace loved Charles, possibly experienced romantic relationship with emotions. They did have a weird relationship, honestly, looking at some of those texts. But I think they were just friends. The A1 protein breaks down during digestion, releases a peptide called BCM7. Yeah, I don't know about all that, man, honestly. McDonald's fountain drinks. Yeah, with McDonald's, it depends because McDonald's, some of their fountain drinks can come out flat. It depends if the syrup has been refilled or whatever. But yeah, a lot of the times the McDonald's has really good fountain drinks. I agree. But I just don't go to McDonald's very often. Thoughts on Byron Brown at Auburn? I don't think Auburn's going to be that good this year. Probably a 6-6 year again, maybe 7-5. He's from USF. Yeah, I don't really see it. Social Network 2. I didn't think I saw the trailer for it. I didn't think it was very good. They needed to get Jesse Eisenberg back. That's the only way you make that movie. You have to get him back. If you can't get him back, you can't really make that movie. And I don't know what, he apparently he got really angry because everyone called him Mark Zuckerberg or something, and so he said, "I'm not doing another movie." It's like, bro, the entire point of that movie is he looks like Mark Zuckerberg, or at least he has the mannerisms. He's a smart actor, but I think that movie's kind of screwed. You see people getting fired up about Fauci, but I'm fatigued at this point. Well, I'm fatigued as well, but it was still funny, the hearing, and to see them berate him. It's still funny. I mean, no, I understand what you're saying, like, people calling for action from the administration. Do we really expect them to do anything? I mean, they'll literally just say, "Oh, he got preemptively pardoned. We can't do anything." You spent $200 on Drake May winning MVP. I don't think that's gonna happen, bro. Obsession is the best movie this year. Well, I haven't seen a lot of movies, but Obsession is the best one that I've seen by far. But again, I haven't seen a lot compared to other moviegoers. I have seen my fair share, but I haven't seen The Odyssey. I haven't seen a few others. I didn't see that. Did the Leonardo DiCaprio? I heard the Leonardo DiCaprio movie was bad, and it was like this woke movie, and it was just like, really. I mean, I was seeing the trailer and I was like, yeah, what's going on here with this relationship? I mean, what is that Leonardo DiCaprio movie called? It's something that I didn't really like the name of it either. It was like a longer name. You bet Drake May MVP last year plus 8,000. He lost by 1 vote. Give your opinion on James Fishback, right wing socialist. What? Because he wants no private beaches? It was woke slop about killing government officials for illegals. Oh. You have zero interest in seeing The Odyssey. The thing is, it's like a spectacle. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, I probably should see it. My brother saw it. But then I was like, I have to invest 3 hours into this movie. There's got to be a lot of downtime. And the other thing is, it's like, epics like that, I'm not necessarily interested in. Like, if it's a sci-fi movie, 3 hours, I'm in. But something like that, I don't know if I'd have to really refresh on the story, and because you have to kind of know the story going into it, I'm sure it helps with the experience. One battle after another, yeah, that's what it was called. That movie came out like probably in March, if I had to guess, but I don't think that movie was very good. By the way, that movie with the what was it, Sinners? I saw that movie last year during the summer. I didn't think it was anything crazy. People were saying it was the best movie of 2025. I didn't think so. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on that horror movie. I don't know. I'm sure it's better than Passenger, I'll say that. I don't think it's better than Obsession. But yeah, I'm going to see the new Spider-Man movie. There should be great energy in the theaters Friday night. I mean, this is when you go, you know. I like going to the theaters. I get an end seat. Also wants to tax people moving from out of state. Well, I mean that obviously they have a lot of migration into Florida, and I don't know about that. That's a local issue. Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting about how black it was, that movie. So, I mean, I think the acting was good in it and it wasn't terrible, but I think they kind of overdo it with those type of movies for obvious reasons in terms of their praise. Do you get popcorn? Yeah, I do get popcorn. Normally, I get popcorn. Movie pop. The thing is, I can't get butter because butter it's too. So I have to get a drink, and they really get you. I get like a high C or a Coke Zero or something, but they really get you because the drink is like $7. I mean, come on, we're really gonna do this to me. We really have to do this seriously. You're gonna charge me $7 for a medium fountain drink, and it's decent size. Come on, you're gonna charge me $6 for a small popcorn, maybe a medium popcorn. I can't get the butter. The butter, it gets on my hands. I don't do the butter. It is dry. Sometimes it's dry. It depends the batch of pop. Depends who's making the popcorn, the way it's made. You want it fresh, but if it's burnt a little bit, it becomes problematic without the butter. You literally cannot buy Spider-Man tickets from your theater chain. None of the ticket, dude. The thing is, and this is just what's gonna happen with Spider-Man. It's gonna be phenomenal. Like everybody wants to go to the movies right now. After Obsession, The Odyssey, there's a few other ones. The Backrooms, which was an overrated movie, but I think people realized it was overrated. That's what happened with Backrooms. Remember, I made a review on Backrooms that got like a 50% like rate, but then people were like, "No, it actually is kind of overrated. It's not very good." People quietly say that, and the second one that they make, The Backrooms 2, I can guarantee you it's not going to do well. And then they're going to create this narrative like, oh, but the first one was amazing, the second one was not as good. No, the first one was not very good, and the second one was not very good. That's what's going to happen to Backrooms, trust me. This Spider-Man movie is going to sell everywhere because people want to go to the movies, man. There's been a resurgence. After 2020, there was like 2 or 3 down years. But Obsession, and I do think it's annoying, all the dialogue with social media. It's like you can't even enjoy a movie. People have to constantly talk about it on social media. But yeah, the Backrooms movie, $7 fountain drink. They should do free refills. That's one of the pet peeves with the movies that makes it non-enjoyable. And it's like, I wonder if there's a way to get that down to like $3. I think that would help so many people if they got that down because it is predatory. It's like an airport, dude. I had wings one time at an airport. That's the thing with airports. I was talking about an airport earlier. I probably got 6 wings, and this was in 2020. This is probably when inflation was at the lowest point. This is 2020 prices. So I got 6 wings at one of those bullshit airport bar restaurants, and I think it was $30 for 6 wings. This is during COVID. I mean, it's probably like $50 now. You don't sneak in candy at all? Oh, we used to. We don't do it anymore. We used to do that, yeah. It made sense. I mean, you want to go real try hard, you could definitely sneak in candy. But, like, you can't sneak in popcorn. You can't really sneak in a drink. I want a drink, I want popcorn. Backrooms was good for the first 30 minutes. I'll say that the Backrooms was not terrible for the first 45 minutes even. It wasn't that bad. But let's also not treat it with kid gloves. It was pretty average, even for the first 40 to 50 minutes. And then people are like, it's a 20-year-old director. Yeah, we can tell. The movie's not very good. It's hilarious how they try and use that. They're like, well, and then that's the thing. Think about it. They were trying to do the whole charade of like, you're just not smart enough to understand the movie. It's a 20-year-old director, and his army of fans are all 6 years old, and they're the ones that are propping up this movie. But no, you're right. Pardon me for not getting what the 6-year-old who likes the movie. And like, you talk to anyone that goes to see Backrooms, they say there's a parade of 10-year-olds that come into the theater. They take up an entire row. We had it happen. An entire row, the whole row. I'm on the end. My friend's right next to me. The entire section is like 10-year-old kids. These are these are the kids that are hyping up this movie. And then I got to get this thing from Penguin and all these people. They're like, you just didn't understand it. The 20-year-old kid that's never directed a movie in his life and the 6-year-old fans, they really know the deep story of the Backrooms and the never-ending parabola. And it's like, dude, this is a joke. You got to be kidding me. This was not well done. It was not well written. I'm sorry. Sneaking in pizza. I'll sneak in Auntie Anne's. Auntie Anne's is really good. There's an Auntie Anne's near there's an Auntie Anne's right below the movie theater. I'd like to bring it. I like Auntie Anne's a lot. Auntie Anne's, that's a good pretzel. But you can't really sneak in Auntie Anne's. You'll get grease all over the place. Spider-Man, do you think it'll be slop? No, normally they do a good job. With Spider-Man, the plots are always the same, but it's entertaining. So that's fine. Because the thing is, you make so many of them, obviously it's just a moneymaker for them, and that's fine. As long as they make good enough movies with good enough acting that's entertaining, it's not going to be an Interstellar or a Prometheus. Man, what if they made the Prometheus? I mean, what about a movie like that? Instead, we get Backrooms. We get Backrooms. Oh, he went through a wall. Okay. Yeah, that's real amazing. We can't get even an Alien Covenant. We get Alien Awakening. If they actually make Alien Awakening, ooh, that's going to be amazing. With Michael Fassbender. I know. That's what I'm saying. Prometheus is a literal God movie. It's a God movie in a literal sense. It really is an amazing movie, Prometheus. And listen, yes, it is. There are some. I actually I watched Prometheus. Yes, there are some ridiculous parts. I'm not going to deny that. Because I rewatched it. I kept typing up Prometheus. Let me rewatch it. Okay, yeah, there are some ridiculous parts. There are some retarded parts. I'm not going to lie. But it's still, the overall story is amazing. I mean, if you see that in theaters, how do you not get inspired or just... It's really a thought-provoking movie, and it's just... It's an impressive film, but even Alien Covenant, and yeah, there's some bad parts in Alien Covenant, probably more so in Alien Covenant. But even Alien Covenant, now they come out with Romulus. Romulus is not good, I'm sorry. And they try and do this whole thing like, well, Romulus revived the series. No, Romulus was a low budget film. It didn't even come out in theaters. Or actually, it did come out in theaters, but I think it was immediate to streaming. Yeah, there's a lot of fast food places. It's all the food court, and then the cinema. You know, the way my mall works is it got a massive addition. So the front of my mall was built forward. So basically, they took away some of the parking lot, and trust me, we've got a lot of parking in my city. My city is like so horrible. It's such a typical American city. They took away the front of the mall and added an extension. They added a cinema. And then they renovated the cinema probably in 2021 or 2020. So now all of the seats are really nice. It's a nice Cinemark. Cinemark. It is a Cinemark, but I guess it also was a cinema. The engineers need a movie. Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued with the engineers, but I think the criticisms, you know, they tried to use that as why Alien Covenant sucked was because they didn't include the engineers. But I still thought Alien Covenant, it was good enough for me. But I know people didn't like Alien Covenant, and that derailed the entire franchise. Alien Covenant derailed the franchise. They had to make a low budget Alien Romulus like 7 years after. If you rewatch Prometheus, you will be like, okay, at an older age, you will be like, okay, some of this is retarded, but it's still an overall good premise. You use Cinemark, they have a good rewards program. I need to use their rewards. I think I finally started using their app. Yeah, you know, you people really should use apps of places. They do give you rewards. But even it's a convenience thing. Like I use the Chick-fil-A app. I'll use the Chipotle app. You don't have to worry about ordering or anything like that. ...2017 movie called Time Trap messed you up. Honestly, I might have seen that movie if it keeps like a movie about time recycling over and over again. I have seen a lot of just random movies. Best trilogy of all time, Lord of the Rings. Would have loved to see it in theaters. Yeah, think about theaters. The only way to see a movie, if you have a movie that you want to watch, you have to see it opening night in theaters, or at least opening weekend. That is the way to watch. Imagine seeing Interstellar opening night in theaters. Imagine, you know what? I saw The Dark Knight Rises in theaters opening night, or around there. Now, The Dark Knight Rises, people don't think it's as good as The Dark Knight. This is the thing with Christopher Nolan. I never saw Tenet, and I've been told Tenet. I think I would probably honestly not like Tenet. I think they tried to do something different and it didn't really work. And they try and do this whole mysterious thing. I don't think it really works. I never saw Tenet. I never saw Oppenheimer. And I never saw The Odyssey. Now, I don't even know if I want to watch those movies. Maybe Oppenheimer. Tenet is amazing. You saw all three in theaters. It was insane. That's the thing. You got to see stuff in theaters so you have a story about it. Like I saw Obsession in theaters opening night. I'd never seen a trailer for it. I never seen a trailer for this movie. It's a low budget movie. I was blindsided, let's just say. Oppenheimer is a must, but it had to be a theater. Dude, I know. And I respect that. That's the thing. If you don't watch it in a theater, it's so hard to recreate and it's really important for horror movies. Oh, if you don't watch horror movies in theaters, recreating the atmosphere of it to be scared is very challenging. Unless you're alone at night, maybe you could do it. Oppenheimer drags for a while. Dark Knight Rises. I love The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. I probably like The Dark Knight more than The Dark Knight Rises. That's like a universal opinion, I know. But some people are kind of lukewarm on The Dark Knight Rises. They don't think it was very good, or they kind of like, maybe it's like a 6 out of 10. No, I think it's like an 8.5, 9 out of 10 still. Do you have a letterbox? Yeah, I do have a letterbox, but it's I probably have to. I only have like 200 reviews or something. If I actually if I went through all the movies that I've watched, it's hard because you have to go back and try and remember what you would give it. I have a letterbox. I don't have my phone with me, but I'll have to sign in and I can show you guys. I can show you guys my grades. Dunkirk. I saw Dunkirk in theaters. Dude, the thing is with Dunkirk, that was probably, this is my guess. I'm guessing Dunkirk came out in 2017, so I would have been around 17 years old. I was probably too young to appreciate the history of the movie. But even during that time period, I mean, I guess Interstellar is a different type of movie, but that's when I loved Interstellar. People hate on The Dark Knight Rises in retrospect. 100%. 100%. I was surprised when I saw that much. I saw a lot of hatred towards Interstellar. I think people just like things that are universally liked and they want to kind of rewrite history and be different. Because I never used to see any hate on Interstellar. And I guess it's a hive mind thing, but you know, now you see these Reddit threads on the movie discussions and they're like, well, Interstellar's actually not that good, and they were talking about Christopher Nolan's best movies, and I had some disagreements with them. Dunkirk was way too slow for me. It was definitely way too slow for me at age 17, I'll say that much. Oh man, My Son Hunter, dude, that those were some of the funniest trailers. I'm gonna go watch that trailer again tonight. My Son Hunter, you're a Biden, act like it. You remember that, dude? But it didn't even look like Joe Biden. It was some fat dude. That's what really Wasn't that a Daily Wire movie? If you watch the trailer on My Son Hunter, you're like, wait, who's this fat dude supposed to be? Oh, that's supposed to be Joe Biden. Yeah, I'll have to sign into my letterbox, or I can send the link on my Discord. I can send the link to the letterbox. I gave Obsession 4.5 out of 5 stars. I gave The Backrooms 2 out of 5 stars. I gave Passenger 1.5. You'll have to see what my Spider-Man rating is. But I have to see the movie on Friday. I gotta rate those other Spider-Man movies. I've seen every one of them. I've seen all of them outside of the last one. Yeah, it was that the Dunkirk was a bit too slow for me. I think that was really even before I was into World War One or World War Two or history in general. Would you ever buy those special collectible popcorn buckets? Listen, those are honestly pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I don't buy that stuff though. I don't buy. I mean, unless it's like, no, I just don't buy that stuff. That's not me. But I do say that's pretty cool to get something custom like that. That's what they should do. You're only allowed to get it if you come on opening night and you can purchase it. And it's like, or maybe opening weekend. And it's a collector's edition. I like that. That's good for the movie theater culture. Scariest movies. Well, when I saw The Conjuring, that was very scary for me. But I was younger. How come Spider-Man is only out on midnight? Think about it. That's what they do. I'll explain it. When a movie is being released, this is all the movies I've seen. Really, the first day is Friday, but technically you can do a Thursday night midnight showing. But who's gonna go to? I mean, I guess that's cool, but I never been to one of those. That actually wouldn't be terrible because I would probably get home by 2 a.m. and I already go to sleep at 2 a.m. anyways. No, I'd probably go to sleep by 3 a.m. if I saw a midnight showing. The Strangers is a good movie. Yeah, but the newer ones are really bad. The original Strangers was good. It captured a creepy essence. Favorite sports movie? Yeah, I think as an adult it has to be Moneyball. I think Moneyball was the best overall made, the best score. But The Sandlot's a classic. But in terms of like an adult, it'd be Moneyball. Benchwarmers. Benchwarmers is pretty scary. Or Benchwarmers is pretty funny. Trouble with the Curve was kind of boring. Trouble with the Curve was like they got an illegal immigrant kid. Or no, he wasn't an illegal immigrant. It was like a Venezuelan kid pitcher. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. Make sure you like the video or like the stream down below. Thanks, everyone, for coming out to the live stream. Yeah, Justin Timberlake was in Trouble with the Curve. All right, guys, I'll see you later.